Memorial. We are grateful to work, live, and learn on the traditional territory of Treaty 8. Moving on to the agenda. Are there any additions or subtractions to the agenda? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion of adoption. Councillor Hanlon, all those in favor? Carried. Moving on to the scheduled delegations. The first scheduled delegation is the High Prairie Minor Hockey Association. Please come to the front. Just go ahead, sit down, and you have to have the mic on, otherwise nobody hears anything. Okay? We received a two-page about Minor Hockey Association. That's in our package. So please introduce yourself to council and proceed.
Good evening. My name is Candace Hare. I'm here, I guess, on behalf of High Prairie Minor Hockey Association, as well as a resident of the town of High Prairie. The application that I'm looking for today is to have a product called Live Barn installed into our local sports palace. Live Barn is a streaming service where people from anywhere in the world could watch a game that is currently being played in our town. There's no cost to the town to have this installed in our arena. The person watching the game subscribes to the service, and that's where the money is made from. Then the town also receives a portion of the revenue that this Live Barn generates. So what it would do is, for example, I have a son in U15. What it would do is it would just enable his grandparents who live 650 kilometers away to watch all of his sporting games at the High Prairie Sports Palace. And they would pay the subscription fee to Live Barn.
Is that your end?
Yeah, if you read over the application, it's multifaceted, the benefits to it. Coaches can go back and preview their practices, they can preview their games, they can review plays with players. It adds a sense of probably security as well for your facility, as there is then recordings of some of the events that occurred there. I think Live Barn was brought up last year to council, and there was some concern about certain groups not wanting it in our facility because they also broadcast on YouTube. But in Live Barn, you can also turn it off for certain events that you want broadcasted on your own or not broadcasted at all.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, well, now we'll go around the table and hear any comments. Councillor Hanlon, if we could begin with you, any questions or comments?
Thank you. I do have one question. What would the fees be for people to sign up for this service?
I think it depends on what package they choose. I believe it's one you can watch an entire season, a full access at any arena. Then there's ones that are for certain arenas, certain games, so it just depends on the user's package.
Okay, and then my next question would be, so you said it could be turned off if a team decides that they don't want a specific game broadcast. Now, who would be in charge of like turning it on for a game or turning it off, and who would be responsible for that part of it?
I believe it would be the town, the employees at the arena.
Councillor Martinson, welcome. Do you have any questions of the delegation? Okay, Councillor Mindelaine.
Yeah, I guess Brian was trying to say something there, but he doesn't have his mic on. Just one quick question. So the installation of this, who would be responsible for installing the system and for maintaining it?
Live Barn installs. There's no cost to the town. It's their equipment. They install it. They maintain it.
And so if it goes down, we're not getting calls here, they're gonna get the call and,
That's my understanding.
okay, I just wanted to double check on that. So there's no cost at all for the town.
Correct. That's my
Okay, thank
understanding.
you.
Counselor Martinson, do you have a question or comment?
No, I have no questions, sir.
Okay, Counselor Shunter?
How many rinks has this been installed in?
I'm not sure. I'm not about, I
Okay.
don't have access to that. I know that I've been to multiple tournaments where Live Barn is installed and utilized it
Okay.
at other tournaments, but I wouldn't know.
500 as in
Okay.
North America and 28 in Sweden. So Live Barn installs it, they have control over it. It's not ownership on us, it's
Yeah.
ownership on Live.
So it's a,
You get up to 30, you get 30% subscription. So town of High Prairie can make 30% off.
so it's a large reputable company. They're not gonna drill holes in the roof and cause a leak, and they know what they're doing. They've installed in plenty of rinks. Okay.
Counselor Temple?
So far, I don't mind it so much. My only concern is as brought up, as I'm gonna bring up with our cameras going in for security, is this a security camera policy?
Well, the policy's in front of council tonight. But this is a different camera system, so it's just for the hockey games, nothing else.
But it's in our whole facility.
That's right. Yeah. We wouldn't need to put up a sign, I believe, because it's focusing on the hockey game itself. It's not focusing on spectators.
Yes, it would be the ice surface. It wouldn't cover your lobbies or anything like that.
Okay, Director of Recreation?
Yeah, it is only on the surface and it only turns on if there's if nothing is happening on the ice surface, it turns off.
Okay, anything else, Counselor Temple? Deputy Mayor? There may be, I don't know if there are any concerns. Is it possible that a parent may not want, for instance, if it's minor hockey, what about parents' views on things being portrayed? Is there a provision for that?
I'm actually not sure. I can say though, as a parent in minor hockey, I've never gone to a minor hockey game where I haven't seen parents from each side, opposing team and home team, with their phones out, putting
Yeah.
every game on Facebook Live. That's the way we currently share so that other people can see the games. I think it's a public building, so I don't know if you have an issue with protection of privacy in the public
Yes, you
facility.
do, and you usually have to put up the appropriate signs if you have them.
I know
under-
Live Barn gives you the, it's like a placard that they have because then you would scan the QR code to show which arena you're in. I know they have that, but I don't know the legality.
I know my principal concern would be if there was any apprehension by anyone on some form of invasion of privacy, and I think that's why we're asking these questions.
Yeah, I wouldn't know the legalities behind it. I wouldn't comment on it.
Okay. The CEO have any questions?
No, I don't.
Okay. We're not going to deal with that immediately,
Oh, for sure.
but it's on the list.
Okay.
It's in the job jar.
All right.
Okay?
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Our next scheduled delegation is from Grassroots Realty. Just go ahead, introduce yourselves and start the presentation.
Hi, I'm Misty Gaudet,
Carol Shuchuk.
and we have an offer to purchase for 4724 56th Avenue in Pine Crescent. Okay. So Daryl is wanting to make an offer on the lot. Does everybody know which lot that is? Do you guys have a copy of the offer to purchase? No? Okay.
It's the lot on the left hand as you enter the Pine Crescent Circle, right?
Yes, yeah, it's a double-sized lot. Daryl's intention is to subdivide it into 2 lots and start building immediately within the year. I think immediately, but we would put in the contract that he'd be building within the year. He'd like the ability to subdivide into 2 parcels. And he would like the town of High Prairie to pave after the sewer and water have been installed at a fair cost to him. So he would pay for it. He'd just like it done at a fair cost to him. And he's offering $5,000 and possession March 10th. His intention is to build 2 1,300 square foot houses with garages, more or less.
Nice and to the point. Thank you. So we'll go around the table. All the councilors who have questions or comments. Councillor Temple. Councillor Shunter.
Oh, I love it. I got no issue with that.
Councillor Martinson.
Do you still have the agreement with the town to install the services, Daryl, on any new developments?
Yep. So repeat that question. Sorry.
Do you still have, is there still an agreement with the town to put in services to, like the town would fund some of it?
Is that a policy if you buy an old lot with old services to change out the services, but this lot has never had services that I know of?
Mhm. Yeah, we're looking at.
So it would be a matter of just installing new services, and he's just asking that the town do the work, but charge it back to him at a fair cost.
Okay,
Oh, just the paving, sorry.
Rebate on the,
Go ahead.
I don't know if it'll have a rebate on the services because we're not replacing existing services. There's nothing in there for any kind of rebate of installing new services.
Councillor Martinson, any other questions or comments?
no, none.
Councillor Hanlon.
I don't have any right now.
Councillor Minderline.
Okay, just a couple quick questions. So with the regard, this is not the lot that's in the middle of the circle. This is over on the left-hand side there, as you said.
Correct.
Okay, that's fine. And then with that, so there is water, sewer, along and gas, whatever that's going around this by the street there, I suspect. But connection to that would be the cost of the developer.
Yep.
Okay, usually it's from the property line into the residence. So am I correct with that? We've got nobody here for Public Works, but I believe it's the
Yeah, we
property line in.
we have hookup fees, utilities.
No, but there's for actually laying the pipe, like you
Laying the
get to there, and then they have to take it the rest of the way.
Yeah, I'll investigate with the manager of utilities, but you want it at a reasonable price, so I'm sure we can work something out.
Cost. I would think,
paving.
oh, what about the
Just the
utilities?
paving.
Oh. Oh, okay, on the part of the buyer. That's what I wanted to double check to make sure of. My own, the garages, I guess it doesn't matter if they're single or doubles, but it's just questionable. The garage, are they single garage attached or doubles? Double attached? Yep, okay, all right. And then the offer is at $5,000. Now, when you go to put your price on there to sell those, it's based on what your sunk costs are and the value of the land. Now, what would you be would you be taking that into consideration that you got the price of the lot at a reduced price, or would you be going with the full rate of what the lot is actually worth? Yeah. Sunk costs. Yeah. Yeah, no, I just want to make sure, because if we're looking at this as a incentive to get some housing going, is it going to be affordable housing, well, quote unquote affordable housing, or is it for profit, or, you know what I'm saying? But I can see where your costs are going already. You can see this, and that's, okay. No, I understand that. Yeah. Seeing this, that sort of answers that. And got something else coming out of the year.
Councilman in the line, any more questions or comments?
No, I don't think so. I had some notes here, but I think I'm good. This is going this way. Yeah.
Deputy Mayor?
Nothing like no.
My concern is that there's a general understanding by the residents in the circle that that's a recreational lot. And if my memory serves me correctly, long ago when I served on council in 1980, that was a general understanding. Now, I'm aware that so far as I know, our staff are unable to find any notations to that effect. But I know that there's a general understanding by the residents of the circle, some of whom are here, that that is a recreational lot. And that in fact, when about 30 years ago or 20 years ago, I can remember playground equipment on it. I can remember outdoor rinks on that lot. If you've lived in High Prairie long enough to get the gray hair, you'll remember that. Pardon? Because the staff on the review of the whole list did not find a notation to that effect. And so in a strictly legal sense, what the staff are doing is perfectly kosher. I'm simply pointing out that there's a general understanding by the residents of the circle that that's for them, that land, when the circle was originally built up, that land was set aside by the developer and placed in some kind of assumed trust for recreation. I don't know what the current standing of recreation is. I do know that it used to be used. I can remember skating rinks. I can even remember various summertime activities on the lot. I'm going to ask a resident who lives nearby who might have some historical sense of it, Mr. Dauber.
One thing when you mentioned the actual that property, my recollection, people originally there, that property was actually purchased by the group of individuals that originally built there. Then was donated back with the understanding that it would be. That was in the 60s when that development happened. He said it came up in the 80s when I was on council. It came up again when we did a municipal development. It was put into that. If the due diligence wasn't there to have it in writing, I can understand it. But it was brought up again, and so it seems to surface about every 5 years or so. But yeah, that is considered green space that was donated. Now, those properties.
So and that happened about 65 years ago. So it's, I don't know how we reconstruct what the transaction as it was originally intended, nor do I know how binding that original transaction was. But it's certainly a concern to the people who are living there, and I can tell you that there needs to be, if the property is sold for development, there needs to be some recognition and accommodation of the historical sentiment there. And I don't know how you would propose that. So I'm simply, pardon? So this is, and I apologize on behalf of the town for this misunderstanding that notation was never found and was not remembered. Councillor Mindelain, you have a question?
Question, or maybe just a point, because even though if it was there, if it was donated or whatever, there would have been transfer of title, and land titles should have something on file there, even if it goes back to the 60s of that. And it's be something we should be able to check it into. And Edmonton's files? I'm not talking about ours. I'm talking our land files. I'm talking about, okay. Okay, but land titles, they don't have that transfer document? Okay. Okay. And the zoning on that land, I get that question too, because if it is for recreational purposes, it shouldn't be zoned as R2 or anything. Urban services, okay. Thanks.
So even by its zoning, it stands out a little bit from its neighbors. Councillor Martinson, I'd like to delve into your memory banks. What do your memory banks tell you on this one?
I don't believe there's anything that says that it is a recreational lot. I know when the Wisharts were in there, the Buchanans, they did build outdoor rinks and that there, but I don't know if there's anything. I've never ever found anything on file.
You can see the quandary for some of us.
Yeah.
And I don't know how we will obviously deliberate on this topic. We may in fact ask for an original title search and all of that to be done. But I don't think this is going to be resolved all that quickly, depending on the situation. The CEO, have any questions or comments?
Yeah, we'll look again, or we'll ask Edmonton or whatever we can find officially. It sounds like this was a gentleman's agreement of a sort, without any documentation, any agreement, any title transfer. But we'll, just to make sure, we'll look again and get something official for that lot. I'll try, hopefully we'll have all the information we need so that I can write a report to council for February 24th and go from there. Possibly it might go into March 10th for a regular council meeting, but I'll put something together for council to consider. We want to be sensitive to the residents that are there. Everybody seems to think on that circle that, there was a formal agreement but there's nothing in writing. So legally, if it was ever taken to court, we couldn't produce a document saying that we could not sell this, or, because the residents seem to understand there is a recreational commitment.
It's the CEO is giving himself more time to resolve this. We meet as committee of the whole 1 week from tonight, and we have another council meetings 2 weeks from tonight. And I certainly hope that we will be receiving information and be able to resolve this to someone's satisfaction within 2 weeks. Councilman Delang, one last question.
Yeah, just one last question. So is this one lot or two lots right now?
It's currently
One
one
lot.
lot that he
So, and I think you
proposed
said
to be
in the
subdivided.
offer that you would be subject to being able to subdivide it. Now, there's no guarantee, I think the council can provide it this time, because that's done in a separate, only the landowner can do that. It would have to be a separate request from them to get approved for subdivision.
I would think so.
Yeah, so again, we wouldn't necessarily be able to sign that back. If we did make that choice with that guarantee, it would be still up to you then to apply for subdivision to get the survey done and stakes that. Yeah. Yeah, well, I understand that, but just to make sure that we don't put ourselves in there and say, yes, you said here that you were going to do it, and when we say we can't, and so. Thank you, that's it. I'll back off.
Are there any other questions from councillors before we draw a line under this one? Hearing none, thank you for your presentation, and I hope we'll be able to resolve this in a speedy manner. Okay, moving on then to the item 3 on page 7, the fire chief's report. If the fire chief would please come forward. That's you.
Good evening. You want to go over some highlights? I got some
Yes,
highlights.
please.
Well, I planned for this time. So we had our first responders hockey game early January. It was awesome. A lot of fun. It's good to see all different agencies out. School demonstrations. We did a ton of school presentations over a week. I think there was over 7 of them. From schools from Canuso, Jussard, St. Andrews, kindergarten to grade 6, elementary school, kindergarten, grade 6. I think we seen over 450 kids. It was a tough week, but it was very entertaining. That was to promote fire prevention. So fire prevention is usually in October. The teacher strike affected us doing all these presentations, so we just pushed it back to this January. So our current roster is at 25, which includes 13 full-time firefighters, 1 light duty firefighter, 5 auxiliaries, 2 juniors, and 4 probationary firefighters. As you can see in the package, we have lots of courses coming up. We actually squeezed one in from the time I submitted the report to now. We did high performance CPR. It was a very awesome course. It was in-house, so cost was nothing, and we pushed through 18 firefighters from the High Prairie department. So it was awesome. It was really good. Yeah, other than that, it's whatever's in the report, and you guys have questions, by all means, ask away.
Councillor Temple, any questions? Councillor Shunter? Councillor Martinson?
No questions.
Councillor Hanlon?
I do have one. What's the process to become a volunteer firefighter?
So we have standard operating guidelines. They submit the application. I review the application. If I have no qualms, then it goes to the membership. And then there it's a vote on the membership. They have to have approval of who comes in and out, especially being a volunteer fire department. They have to support who's coming into that hall.
But
Thank-
you step away, you don't vote. It's just the membership, right?
Okay, and then I notice, you didn't bring it up, but I noticed that you're extending an invitation to the mayor or councillor and guests to attend your annual awards. Now, do we need a motion to appoint somebody? No? Thank you.
Councillor Minline?
Thanks for the report. Just one thing that I happened to notice on this report that I hadn't noticed before, but it's probably didn't read it over as closely as I did this time, is the number of hours response time between the county and the town. And it's obviously heavily laden towards the county. It's about 10 to 1. Is that correct? Is that standard basically through the year, or does it pick up?
Oh, it's pretty much.
Okay, so it is about 10 to 1. Okay, thanks.
Deputy Mayor, questions? I note that you've got about $22,000 of revenue build out. That's exclusively January. Or, that's a little higher than usual for 1 month, isn't it? Any reason for that? Oh, okay. That explains it because, no, I've been watching how that number generally works out, and that's about double what the average month is. And I was just curious about that. And so you're inviting anyone who wants to come to your awards night? Is this going to cost me another $200? I thought the last $200 was a donation. And it was a worthy donation. Any other questions or comments? Thank you very much, Fire Chief, and thank you for the invitation. And I hope all counselors come to your awards night. And they all bring their checkbooks. Okay, moving on now to the minutes. These are the minutes of the regular meeting of council for February 10th. By the way, councillors, the original minutes that were distributed were corrected, and that was emailed to everyone. And so the motions dealing with the closed session were corrected. So the minutes of January 27th, are there any errors or omissions? Page 1,
Oh, not page 1.
page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5,
That's the one.
page 6. Yeah,
Is this on? Sorry, on page 5,
yeah.
17.1, it states that there were 3 council members approved to attend the Economic Development Foundation training. It was actually 2 councillors and the CAO.
Okay, as corrected. Any further errors or omissions? Page 6 and page 7. Any errors or omissions? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adopt the minutes as corrected. Councillor Minderline. All those in favor of the minutes as corrected? Carried. Moving on then to page 19. The land use bylaw amendment. The CEO, could you please introduce this topic before we get to motions and things?
Yes, we really appreciate the interpretation that was given and the dedication that was given to it by our Mackenzie Municipal Services Agency, our planner. Basically describing that if we convert this from secondary commercial district to an urban reserve district, it requires an amendment or a council decision to make an exception for the strictures that are put out in the intermunicipal development plan and the municipal development plan itself and the land use bylaw. The decision, if we agree with the applicant to make this conversion, that it'll reduce our municipal tax revenue. And we have two reports in front of us, but this one specifically, it's just a consideration that we allow him to farm on the land, I believe. And it reduces the town's long-term flexibility to respond to market demand and attract employment-generating uses. If there's a small industrial corporation that wants to develop something within the town, then we will have lost it for this lot. Altering planned commercial lands without supporting policy justification may introduce uncertainty and weaken confidence in the town's long-term development strategy. Reduction in the designation may defer or complicate future servicing decisions and growth sequencing. And as I mentioned before, rezoning could potentially result in a reduction in assessed land value with a corresponding decrease in municipal tax revenue, which may reduce the town's long-term tax base if we forego commercial development in this area.
Although they're presented to us as two separate decisions, please draw the sharp distinction between the two as terms of what pieces of land we're looking at.
Well, this is the front piece to the lot, the large lot that's identified. The other piece is where it's behind the RCMP building. And that's where the applicant is saying it's possibility that we could provide RCMP or he could provide RCMP housing. But that's very speculative and no discussions with the RCMP have been involved at this point.
Okay. On page 25, we have the recommended action, and that is basically that council consider the appropriate option. So we have to decide whether we'll take which of those options. Any councillor wish to make a motion? Councillor Mindeline?
I'd make that motion with the option number 2, direct administration to work with MMSA to initiate a review of the MDP to consider potential amendments to support the proposed land use bylaw amendment.
Okay. We'll go around the round. Councillor Shunter?
I think sorry, Mr. Zablotnik. You want to rezone to lower your taxes, right? That's the goal. Yeah. 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 And I get that. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Not getting emotional. Wait, let me interrupt here. Please come up to the front and make the presentation because you're not coming across very clearly.
My only real issue with it is the reason the taxes are high are to encourage.
Okay, there, go ahead.
My only real issue with it is taxes are high to encourage development. And then my worry is that, you know, we rezone it, we drop your taxes and you hold it for the next 100 years and farm it, and that landlocks the town in that direction, right? We're not looking, today, there's no reason not to let you farm it, but in 50 years, the town might have to grow. And by rezoning it now, you know, you're not thinking about us, you got to think about the grandkids and what they're going to do with it, right?
Right.
But
But can you rezone it when time comes? If you have somebody comes in, okay, we want this parcel, do something, and then you'll get your taxes then.
are you going to sell it when the time comes?
It's always for sale.
Is it?
Sure.
Because you know how some farmers are where they only acquire land, they don't sell land, right?
That's right.
But,
Yes. Oh, if the
and
price
then-
is right, right?
yeah. And then the other thing is just, because you can't have, and you know, you experience the issue on O'Brien Drive where they've got residential directly next to, you know, heavy commercial industrial.
Right.
And, you know, that's something we got to discuss. You can't rezone this as residential and put up houses next to, we're going next to the county's yard, right? You're going to have homeowners living in there that are listening to the beep, beep, beep of the grader and the snowplow at 4 a.m, right?
No, I mean, we're looking at rezoning those lots 3 and 5, right? Just right behind the RCMP. No, not that one.
Right? No?
Well, that one, I don't know why should be
They say
zoned.
subject land. That-
Yeah, so we're just trying to get it back to the big pieces because it's farmed out as one piece, right?
Okay.
Yeah, it's all one piece there, except you guys got the service road going through there plus to the what do you call it, the lift station. So,
They got it on this one too.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
we didn't know it was zoned different. I've been farming it for 10 years, like I've been renting it from Shumbunyas, eh?
Yeah.
And farming it as one piece, like those two pieces together
Yeah.
as one, eh? So
Okay.
I didn't realize it was zoned different until today. Actually, I didn't think I owned it. I thought Husky owned that chunk. Because when Nick put it up for sale 3 years ago through Cashmere and that, he didn't show that piece. And that's why I found out that, yeah, so it's,
Counselor Temple?
so that one, that piece, or pardon me, that piece, we're just back to farmland, right? With the major chunk as one piece, eh? So we like it zoned same as what the big piece is. What's the big piece zoned as? Agriculture, commercial? Urban reserve? Okay. So is it zoned for agriculture then?
Counselor Martinson?
It looks like it's zoned urban reserve. And I don't have my land use bylaw with me, so I can't tell you what's allowed and what's not allowed there. That's a big chunk. The part behind it would be Ruel's where their asphalt plant was. That's zone C2, I believe.
Okay, Shonda is looking that up and we'll go on around the table. Counselor Hanlon?
No, I don't have any questions right now. Thanks.
Counselor Minderline?
Okay, I don't want to put the staff on the spot, but the current assessment on that then would be based on the land value for commercial uses right now. And if it's rezoned to agricultural, it would be based on agricultural land. Which it would be a lot lower because I believe I'm correct to remember from my previous life, agricultural land is assessed on value and I believe it's 72 or 82 and it has not increased on the value of land since that time. Yes. So, you know, that's part of the reasoning for it is if you get the commercial, you get the reduced land assessment
Okay,
value. And but that again, does not stop anything from council, because where I've worked before, I've brought it up to the councils, and this was in a rural spot where they weren't necessarily aware that the property value had gone up in 50 years at that time. And so once they did that, they had always said, left the assessment, tax assessment rate at the same across, not realizing that they were no longer getting increases to the taxes as they were getting from their commercial or residential. So even though it was to go to agricultural, there's still an opportunity to increase the residential rates. Just want to make sure that the opponent's aware of that.
So
That can be a decision to council, but.
yeah, the permitted uses for urban reserve district are, you can have an accessory building, agriculture, greenhouse, market garden, public use, public utility, sign, solar energy collection system, telecommunication tower, and wind energy. Discretionary uses would be campground, dwelling unit, single detached, home occupation, natural resource extraction industry, park or playground, riding stable, wind energy conversion system.
So yes, agriculture is included.
Yep. So
Counselor Martinson, now that that has come forward, do you have any further comment?
None.
Deputy Mayor? My concern on this particular piece of property is we are looking at an economic development plan. We're hoping to get something started. And that's all good highway property. And if we're going to get economic development going, that's going to be one of the more likely locations. One of the things that we get told by economic development experts is that if you're going into economic development, you have to have the land ready to go. And so right now, I take it is that it's appropriately zoned for anything that an economic development initiative might cover. But if we rezone it to agriculture, we not only lose significant taxes, but we also lose a quick response to anyone who might be coming in. Okay, I just want to sort of present that that point of view to you. CEO, have you any summary comments on this one?
no, nothing further.
And we're left without a recommended action. But the motion was on number 2, direct administration to work with MMSA to initiate a review of the NDP to consider potential amendments to support the proposed land use bylaw amendment. In slightly plainer language, Jim, it's going to go around the bush one more time. Okay? Any further questions or comments? There is a motion. Any further? Hearing none. All those in favor of the motion? Opposed? Carried. Oh, sorry. Councilor Martinson, I didn't look at the screen to see which way you voted.
For the motion.
For the motion. Okay, 5-2. Moving on then to the next piece of property. And again, CEO, please introduce the topic.
This one is slightly, well, similar and slightly different. Again, this is the land behind the RCMP building. And the purpose, the applicant believes that there's requesting that both parcels be rezoned from secondary commercial to an appropriate residential district zoning. And it could support the future development of RCMP housing. The MMSA, with regard to the municipal development plan, has indicated that the proposed rezoning to a residential district is inconsistent with the MDP's future land use designation. Approval of the amendment would remove planned commercial land from the town's long-term land use inventory, potentially limiting future economic development and employment opportunities. The lot itself appears to be serviced. And of course, the tax implications could result in a reduction in assessed values and corresponding property taxes, potentially negatively impacting the municipal tax base prior to development. And that's what I have.
Okay, we'll go around the table, ask for any questions or comments from councilors, starting with Councilor Hanlon. Councilor Mindeline,
None at this moment.
Councilor Martinson,
I'm not really approving this, rezoning on these two chunks of land because they are serviced. So I'm in favor of leaving them zoned as the way they are.
Councilor Temple,
No questions.
Councilor Shunter,
No, thank you.
Deputy Mayor.
No.
Okay, I gotta sort out exactly what page I'm on here. There, okay. The options: decline the land use bylaw amendment, direct administration, and receive as information. And again, there's basically no recommendation. I await a councillor to adopt one of the wordings as a motion. Councillor Martinson?
You want me to make a motion?
Yes, please.
Number one, decline the land use bylaw amendment application.
Okay. Further discussion and comment on that? Councillor Temple? On the motion as made now, Councillor Shunter? Councillor Mindeline?
Just one, that's for the motion itself, and here it also says to provide reasons for the decision. So the reason for the decision or this motion then would be based on the utilities provision being in there for the commercial. Is that correct, Councillor Martinson?
Yes, because they are serviced.
Councillor Hanlon? Deputy Mayor?
Nothing right now.
CEO, any final questions or comments?
No final
I
comments.
have none. Okay, reading the motion then, decline the land use bylaw amendment application as presented, provide reasons for the decision, and direct administration to issue an official response to the applicant. That's the motion. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. 6-1. The application is declined. Go ahead.
Can I farm it though?
Pardon?
Can I do whatever I want to do with it? Can I farm it? Because that's the other question too.
Yeah, I think that's
I mean, do I need approval from the town?
let's find out if you need approval, but I doubt if there's anybody going to be all that objecting about it, as long as it's sunflower seeds.
Well, it will be this year. Plus it'll be.
We'll get an opinion as to just what's allowed.
Okay.
And then we'll get it back to you. We don't need a motion on that one. We'll ask the CEO to provide you with the information as known. Now, if the information he gives you, you don't like, then you can come back.
Okay,
Okay?
because I already bought the fertilizer and the seed.
And the sunflower seeds.
So,
Okay, moving on then from there, security camera policy. We're on to page 38.
Okay.
CEO, introduce the topic.
Yes, this is to be proactive before we actually install the security cameras. And we have had security cameras about the town facilities, and there isn't a security policy. There is a policy on body cameras for the peace officers, but this is different. So we need to put something in place, and that's all that this is about. And I'm just looking through the policy here. I did notice that I had reference to Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. That's been replaced by the Access to Information Act. So I'll change that designation, but those references. And that's all I have for now.
Okay, and so the recommended action is the council approve ADM-03-2026 security camera policy. Anyone wishing to adopt that one? Councillor Chunder? Okay. Any other questions or comments? Councillor Minderline?
Just curious, I've always, policies and bylaws, I'm always a little leery. I'm turning them through for the first time. Has this passed the sniff test with their lawyers? Have we got a legal advice on this? Okay,
Yes, but I got some, but the final version I haven't sent back to the lawyer. Good. That is a good point.
okay, thank you.
Sorry. I'll send it to the lawyer.
That tells me then that all we're doing is approving it in principle. If it's going back for.
Correct, but
final-
I believe, I wrote this so long ago that back in the summer, I think I did refer to a lawyer on this. I'm pretty sure I did. But
I'm pretty sure you didn't?
I did.
Oh, you
But,
did?
Let me check to be sure.
Okay.
Yep.
Councillor Chunder?
David, can you give us some background? Legally, there's no expectation of privacy in a public place. The rink, the pool, it's all a public place. I'm just trying to understand how people access the footage. And one way to access it is through a police officer with a case number if a crime's been committed. But anybody can access that footage with a access to information, right? Anybody can see if they want to, right?
They can request it.
Yeah.
And we would assess it on a case by case basis, whether we would actually give them information. It just depends who's asking it and why.
Okay.
If the RCMP ask for it, that's an automatic. We would provide the tape to them.
Councillor Minderline?
I just want to check with Councillor, that was Councillor Hanlon that made the motion, if she would accept a friendly amendment to include, subject to approval by the town's legal representatives.
Sure.
I think we're back to just approving this in principle. Okay. Any further questions or comments? Keeping it simply worded that council approve in principle ADM 03-2026 security camera policy. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. And so it'll come back to us once we have a legal opinion for final decision. Reducing criminal activity, installation of cameras. That was, got my pages mixed up here. Okay, where are we? CEO, introduce the topic.
Yes, when I was writing this, at the time, I wasn't aware what the South Peace News was going to put in their paper. I did want to recognize for the public's benefit the efforts made by previous and the current council, and that town council is doing all within its power to contribute to the reduction of criminal activity. That being said, I also wanted to keep the new council informed of the considerations that we looked at before agreeing to purchase a camera security system. And that I did complete an assessment tool on the privacy impact and determined on my own that we do not need to put in an official report to the Integrity Information Commissioner. And that's the documentation for this. So this is really for information, so the council's aware of what we've looked at when we implement a security system, security cameras.
Okay, motion to accept for information. Motion to accept for information. Counselor Mindelein. Any questions or comments? Anything, Counselor Martinson? All those in favor of receiving for information? Carried.
You have a question?
Okay,
Okay, so on page 45, there is a considerations for implementing a municipal camera security system. Number 4, it says council may need to amend existing municipal bylaws or create new ones to govern the use of surveillance technology. I know we saw a policy, but do we also have a bylaw regarding this?
I just created a policy as opposed to a bylaw. And it'll be no different if I put it in a bylaw, but I used it as a policy.
So just for my clarification, what I just read, does that say we need to amend or create a new bylaw?
I believe as long as we have a policy, we don't need to have the bylaw. It still has to be approved by council.
okay, Counselor Mindelein?
I just had one question. The locations of the cameras that you had listed on there on page 42, are those all dealing with town property and not dealing with private property or commercial property that we're looking after?
Well, it's on ATCO lighting poles. And
it's-
we've got
it's
their
looking
permission.
towards what? Commercial properties or town properties?
The streets, commercial businesses,
I just-
commercial
Oh.
businesses,
So it's not to protect our property.
JC Park. There's-
Okay, JC, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
one that would be town property.
That's right.
But if it's something that's
Mhm.
aimed at the ATV,
And this is something that commercial businesses have wanted. So it's,
and they haven't put any cameras up themselves, is that correct then?
well, they might have their own camera
Yeah, okay.
systems.
I just wanted to check to see if we're doing something that the businesses should be doing.
But
or
these,
if we're doing something looking after our own property.
the placement of these security cameras, I received input from the previous senior peace officer where the highest crime activity is on these streets. Okay.
Okay, before we move on, let's take a 7-minute body break.